This episode is presented by Shaw. October sees the under-20s from countries around the world battling it out to see who has the best youth international team. It reminds me of when I was at the start of my career. At that age, there's already lots of pressure to perform, and you just want to get better and better. So keeping calm and fresh is so important. If I could give younger me a tip, I'd say keep Shaw's non-stop protection range of antiperspirants to hand. It has 72-hour non-stop sweat and odor protection that'll keep you dry and fresh on and off the pitch. Shop now at Boots. Shaw, it won't let you down. Scott Carson, welcome to the Fozcast. The mic is yours, mate, because you got some news for us, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I think it's about time I made it official and officially hung up my gloves, even though probably people said I've hung them up a few years before now, but no, I think it's time now to officially say that I've fully retired, and that's it. The chapter's over.
Right, 21 years as a professional, 522 games, starting at Leeds, then Liverpool, Sheffield Wednesday, Charlton, Villa, West Brom, Bursaspor, Wigan, Derby, and your final 6 years at Man City, where you were part of a team that won 4 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, 1 FA Cup, 2 League Cups, 1 Community Shield, a Super Cup, and a Club World Cup. It's not a bad innings, that, Scotty.
It doesn't sound bad when you put it like that, does it? No, I've had a blast. It's been brilliant, and I'm glad you've just mentioned it was 522 games, because I did see something last time I checked that I was only in the 400s, and I was like, I wanted to get to 40 and I wanted to get 500 games, so I'm glad that you've told me that. I do
double tick.
I do feel a little bit better now you've told me that. So
you're both in that club, aren't you? 40 and 500. That's a great.
It's good effort. It's a good effort, isn't it? So no, it was, like I said, it's been a blast. There's been plenty lows and plenty highs, but overall, when I first started out, I couldn't have probably dreamt that I'd have got to where I've got in 522 games. I am chuffed with that.
Right, Scotty, serious business now. Okay, we're going to talk about your career, Man City, Liverpool, England, all sorts of bits and bobs. Most important thing, though, if you were in a bar fight tonight and you've got to pick 3 players from Manchester City who you know have got your back, they're a bit handy, yeah? Who you picking?
I think the first one will have to be my old mate Edison. He's got that little switch. I think if anything happens, he could switch, and he's obviously right into his UFC and boxing, so
he's handy.
I think he would definitely have my back. And
I was hoping you'd say
me too, yeah.
He has to. And then second one would be Walks, strong as an ox.
Yep.
He's looked after me a couple of times, so he's
you know this for a fact that he's good at this.
Yeah, he's good. He likes to keep an eye on everyone and make sure everyone's
father figure.
Yeah, make sure everyone's behaving and not getting into any trouble. And so he would.
Those combinations are coming in like rapid, aren't they?
Yeah, he's
professional.
Obviously, he's quick. He's quick running. So he's quick and strong when it comes to holding you and keeping a grip of you. So he's number 2. Number 3 was a little bit difficult. I was and ahhing, but I think I'll go with Fernandinho.
Oh yes, yeah. That's good.
I think he's the silent assassin. He was pretty quiet, level-headed, but as soon as that little switch went on or off the field, I think he could go from 0 to 100 in 10 seconds. So I think he'd be definitely one. I think that's a good.
It's a good three.
Good
Very
trio.
Good that. Very good trio. That. Right. What you been up to for the last 4 months, then, mate?
Just been chilling out, really. But I've upped my skills with the Hoover and the lawnmower, and I'm good at I can put the washer on now. So my house husband skills are definitely up from what they were. So no, but it's just been good. I've been able to go and watch the kids now a lot more. Go and watch them play on a Saturday and Sunday, which probably for the past, definitely the past 5 or 6 years, I've missed out a lot on watching them and seeing how they're getting on. So it's been good. I'm not too sure that they've been too excited about me
having that about
me watching them that often and maybe criticise them a little bit sometimes. But no, it's been good, and I'm glad that I've been able to watch and give them a little bit of feedback and hopefully help them.
Got a genuine question there, because I remember when you retired, Ben. Like, genuine. Like, when you guys are in the football world, you are on a very set routine. You're not there weekends. You're not there for like a lot of the big times, Christmases and stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like you. I remember you saying, and your missus saying, you get in the way. Like the family have almost got a routine that you then just come in and disrupt.
Fully disrupt. It takes some getting used to, doesn't it? When you know you haven't got to go into work that day.
Yeah, I think for the full time that you're in football, you spend just nearly all your time just looking at your watch, thinking, right, I need to go here, I need to be there, I need to set off at this time. You're always just looking, thinking, and there's no time to sometimes no time to chill out. You've always got something to do, got to be somewhere, your schedule for the week or the month or whatever it is. But I did think I would find it difficult to not have that routine, but obviously with 4 kids, there's no time to even think with that. And obviously my missus has said it for years, it's so hard, I've got to do this and that. I was like, yeah, but I've got to go to work. And then now I'm thinking, yeah, she's actually been right here. But no, like I say, it's been good, and so far I think she's enjoyed me being around a little bit more and helping with the kids, and even getting that. Not saying you don't have a relationship with the kids, but when you're not there all the time, it is different. But obviously being there a lot more now and getting that close relationship with everyone, it's been good, and I'm fully enjoying it.
Love it, mate. Do you know that you hold a record? It's a good record, isn't it?
It's a really good record.
Is it?
It's a very good record,
Yeah.
this, Scotty. You hold the record for the longest time in between Champions League
I did see that.
appeal. This is incredible. 16 years, 338 days. So you made your Champions League debut 5th of April 2005 against Juventus.
Yeah.
What was that, quarterfinal, was it?
Yeah.
Nice little 2-0 win, 2-1 win, sorry.
2-1.
And then your last appearance was on the 9th of May 2022 against Sporting. 0-0. You came on for the final 17 minutes. That's not bad, that, is it?
It's not.
Can you remember back then, 2005?
I do a little bit, to be honest, because I'm not too sure if I can't remember 100% if I made my debut the week before or what, but I remember Jersey was obviously, he was playing and he was number one, but he was one of these keepers that when you're on the bench you just never felt like,
oh, we don't like these.
We never felt. I never felt comfortable because he was always doing something. I was like, he's injured, and I was like, oh, I'm always on edge here, thinking, is he going to? And to be honest, he never came off. But there was always me looking, thinking, he's coming off.
Theatrics, Jersey, just calm it down, all right?
And then I remember there was a little bit of a doubt of him before the Juventus game, but to be honest, Benitez never told you anything, and I didn't have a clue. And there's obviously me and him in the squad, and we got to the ground, and then Benitez just reads the team out, and he's Carson, blah blah blah, and I'm like, what? So like, obviously, it was a good thing because it was literally just before the game, so you don't have time to think. You didn't have the full afternoon in the hotel worrying that you're not going to play. So it was
you're 19 at this point,
19,
right?
yeah.
Wow.
But so I didn't have time to think. It was just right. Get sorted. Go and have your warm up.
And would he have done that on purpose to stop you worrying?
I don't think he did, no, because he didn't really tell you much anyway. So it was, and I don't know about you. I just always like to be told something. And
yeah, just the goalie coach give you a heads up or something.
Exactly, yeah.
By the way, you're playing against Del Piero and Zlatan later tonight.
Exactly.
By the way, just
be ready if there's a chance that you could play or whatever. But to be fair, obviously, looking back now, it probably wasn't a bad thing for him just to leave it that late. Didn't, because I do remember when I made my debut for Leeds at Old Trafford, Paul Robinson got sent off he got sent off a couple of weeks before. I don't know what it was, but
Middlesbrough, wasn't it?
Yeah, he
Middlesbrough
didn't
was it,
kick in. He didn't kick in for a couple of weeks till
Okay.
I can't remember how. And then obviously I knew I was playing all along, and then obviously that night in the hotel before the game, it's just horrible. You don't sleep. You're waking up thinking you're dreaming about the game, and then never been to Old Trafford before. Pull up on the coach and see that, and I'm like,
And you're 18.
18. I'm like, oh my god, I just can't wait to be back. I just can't wait to be back on this bus and hoping it didn't go too bad.
It's a shame, isn't it, right? I always think it's a shame that it's wasted on the young. Like these experiences are wasted on the young because you genuinely as a goalkeeper, I think it's the hardest position to be making your debut because outfield players, you get to run around and expend this energy and you kind of just do stuff autopilot. But as a goalie, you're in your own head so much. And especially as an 18-year-old kid away at Old Trafford, you are just thinking, get through the game, just get through the game.
It must be different because if you're an 18-year-old goalkeeper, we all know that if you make a mistake, generally there's going to be a goal. But if you're an 18-year-old fullback or midfielder, it is different, isn't it? It's so different.
How did the game go? How was it?
To be honest, it's a blur. I've never watched it back, and I think in general I didn't do too bad. I think the goal was Gary Neville's like half pulled a cross back, and I've pushed it out, and it's got tapped in. But I think in general I didn't do too bad because considering I was 18. Probably, well, I don't even think I played a friendly or anything for the first team, so it was literally just thrown in right at the deep end. So looking back at it now, a 1-1 draw on your debut at Old Trafford is...
This episode is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official partner of the Premier League. We all know the best part of the Premier League is the competitive spirit it brings out in all of us, and Coca-Cola is giving you a chance to win big by channeling yours. In their Premier League Fantasy Challenge, you build a team based on rules set by an icon. So, if you're getting involved, here's a tip from me. Don't always go for the obvious pick. Sometimes going for a player that most people pick pays off, but then there are times when you're one of a few that picked a less popular choice who performs really well. To get involved in the Premier League Fantasy Challenge, all you've got to do is grab a Coke and scan the code on the pack. Just by playing, you get a chance to win Coke merch or vouchers. But if you beat the icon who set the rules, you could win vintage Coca-Cola jerseys, Premier League tickets, and more. So go ahead and get involved. Grab a Coke, drink it in. T's and C's apply. See coke.co.uk/EPL-terms. Did you ever get any memorabilia from these old games? So like the Juve game for Liverpool, for example. That's a massive game. That's a season Liverpool won in Istanbul. So did you get Gigi Buffon's shirt, example? Because he was the one playing for Juve.
I remember I thought, obviously Buffon was one of my heroes growing up. So it was like, I'm going to go and see if I can get his shirt. So I walked in the dressing room and he just comes out the shower having a fag, and I'm like,
No way.
Please, can you sign this shirt? So obviously I was buzzing. I've still got it. It's hanging up now. It's pride of place. It is. But
That is just mental.
Mate, Gigi was a legend anyway, right?
Right. Here's a question for you. I asked Ben this on the way up. Right. What years were the good old days in football? For like you in your playing career, when would you consider the good old days? Because a player coming out the cigarette smoking is the good old
Football
days.
in its pomp. When was football in its pomp for you out of the last 20 years?
I think it's probably... I think the first probably 10, 12 years when I started, I think was good. But I think the last 10, 15 years, it's changed so much.
Really?
And my opinion, hasn't been for the better, as in for the players, for the atmospheres in the dressing rooms and things like that. But when I first started, the first 10 years, you just wake up and you just laugh, and even just going into training knowing there's going to be a practical joke on something, or this is going to happen. Just so many characters and so many people. They just didn't give a shit back then, but now it's obviously a little bit more. You've got to be careful. You can't do this. So you've got to be careful what you say. Yeah. So it has totally changed, and I think you'll have even seen that.
Yeah, I in my head I've got about 2010ish, 2011 for me is probably when football was at its pomp. Not only for the spectacle on the field, but I agree with what you say. behind the scenes. You could just it was just everything was a laugh. It was. You're working hard and you're doing everything professionally.
Oh yeah, it was.
But off the pitch, the team spirit between the lads. Oh,
did you have
phenomenal.
more time back then? Because I think a lot of people still assume that you go in and you do a couple of hours a day, and it's just not like that anymore, is it? Everyone we speak to. So we were with Marcus Bettinelli, and he said at City, you're in mid-afternoon.
Yeah.
So it means you're checking in the morning, and it's a full day, isn't it, pretty much?
Yeah, I think obviously when you're at the top clubs like City, Liverpool's, when you're in the Champions League, you've got a game every 3 days, so it is non-stop. But I think probably the teams in the Premier League now that aren't in the Europa League or the Champions League, their week's probably going to be similar to how it used to be.
Yeah.
So someone else's opinion could be, it's still exactly the same as it was 10, 15 years ago, because they could be still getting Sunday off, they could be getting a Wednesday off, and their week's pretty much the same every single week. But at City it was, say there was a game Saturday, you're in Sunday, in Monday, game Tuesday, in for a recovery and training Wednesday. Maybe there's a chance of a day off Thursday, but then it's just back to that same.
You're looking at the schedule thinking we ain't getting a day off here for the next month.
Is there players that don't want to play in Europe?
There's a lot of players
because of that reason.
Yeah, exactly that reason. Yeah, where they don't like some players just don't really enjoy football and don't like being away from home too much. So if they can sign for a mid-table team where they know it's going to be just Premier League, they're just focusing on Premier League. Even the cup competitions don't matter to a lot of football teams, do they? League Cup, FA Cup, they aren't the be-all and end-all. They can't say it outwardly because the fans would be in uproar, wouldn't they? But some players just love playing Saturday football. It's a comfy life, isn't it? If you can get it. Yeah,
definitely. And you'd even look at City and think, you'd think maybe they'd take the Carabao Cup easy and concentrate on the other ones, and then you'd get a couple of days before the Carabao Cup game, and Pep's treating it like it's the Champions League final, and lads are a bit like, well, we're obviously we're going for this, and then you could see, because obviously they won it, was it 4 or 5 times in a row? Yeah. Just any game he got to, he was just, no, I want to win this game. I don't think in his head he could just
take his foot off the gas.
Take his foot off and be seen to be disrespecting someone, and not probably for himself. I've not treated this game like I've treated a league game or a final. Yeah, and it just happened, and it happened the full time I was there. And obviously he did play a couple of the kids in certain games, but there was always a couple of experienced ones and
to help them through.
Yeah, and obviously you win the first couple of rounds, and then that's it.
Before you know it, you're in the quarterfinal, and that's it. You've got to take it proper serious, haven't you? We'll talk about City in a minute, and we were going to actually start with City, but the Liverpool talk was so good. We've got to go back to the Miracle of Istanbul, right? So you're a 19-year-old sitting on the bench. Jersey Dudek's obviously playing in that game. What are your memories from it? Because there's a save that Jersey makes 117th minute of the game, which I know everybody scoring goals is fantastic, all right, and it's great. Yeah. But Jersey Dudek making that save for me is probably the best save I've ever seen in my life. Biggest moment ever.
It was just unbelievable, and obviously to see it live as well, I just remember just thinking, no. And then you watch it as well, it's not even possible how he saved it.
It's a joke, mate.
It's not even possible. So obviously when he's obviously made that save and then you go to penalties, you're half thinking, surely Jersey can't lose this game after making that save. And you know what it's like as a keeper, when you've had a decent game and you've made saves and then you go to a shootout or you feel so good, don't you? So, and obviously he's obviously feeling like that, and then obviously Carra's gone to him, Jersey, do something stupid, or do this, and then he's obviously done the grobbler and he's been 6 yards off his line and saved the Shevchenko.
Rushing off his line.
But no, to be fair, some things I don't even remember from 2 weeks ago, but that I just remember, especially at half-time looking, thinking, this is obviously...
What did you do at half-time? Did you go in or did you stay out on the pitch?
No, we all went in, and I think there was the one thing I do remember, there was an old assistant manager, a Scottish lad, Alec he was called, and he come in and just go around the lads and he's look, it's not over. we get one, then we could get two, and then we could get three. And I'm thinking, yeah, that is a bit obvious. And then before you know it, one, and then two, and then it just happened like that. And you're like, no, this. And then you could see that Liverpool then was not empty, but you could see a few people that were walking up the stairs and things. And then you obviously only hear after that they're out, and then they hear the goals going in. They're trying to get back in, and they can't get back in. But no, it was just obviously surreal, and to be 19 to witness that is.
Have you got any memorabilia from that game?
Yeah, I think I've got my shirt. I've got a Adidas shirt, and then obviously just the memorabilia that you get off the club. So it's a lot of it's just all packed in boxes and not getting any use, which is a shame, really.
Did you get a medal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you played in the quarter final because you played when? What year did you play?
For what?
In the Champions League when United won it.
Oh, it'd have been 2000. 08.
But you didn't get a medal.
I wasn't on the bench.
But you'd played in the.
I think one of the group games, qualifying games earlier on.
God, that's harsh, isn't it?
Yeah,
but that's what obviously when I was on the bench, so I got the medal, but I'd only just come in January, and honestly I felt so bad on Kirky because he'd played in the group stages. I don't know how many games he'd played, but he's played so many games, and I'm like, I've just come here and I've got a medal, and I actually said to him, Kirky, this is not mine. I've just sat on the bench because you're injured. He's like, no. I was like, but unless you actually play a final or you play a lot of games running up to a final, you don't feel like you've justified them. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you've got this medal, but you haven't really done anything to.
So hang on then. So I read out all the achievements from what you've won in your time, or what you were part of in all your time at Manchester City, the Premier Leagues, the Club World Cups, the Champions League. Even now, would you say you won them, or did you not win them?
I would say I didn't win them. I was obviously part of a squad that won them, and I was lucky enough to be part of that squad. And do I think I helped them? Yeah, I think I would like to think I did. Not sure how. Maybe just by being around them, picking them up when they've had a bad result, and just trying to be not being here when they win, or not sulking like when they've lost. But I would like to think that I did help them, but I don't think I've won these medals and I've got these achievements.
It's really interesting you say that, because I asked you the same question like in your career, and you said no, didn't you?
I've only really had one of them. It was when I sat on the bench for, I think it was League Cup at Man United. But I would say no, I didn't win that. Because I didn't play.
But the argument is that you're like, you'll have to forgive me. Do staff members get medals?
Yeah, staff members get medals, don't they?
I think that management, but like obviously
just like coaching staff, goalie coaches.
If you're a coach, and like obviously goes without saying that you're not on the pitch playing, but you're part of that squad. You're there, and you're there day in with Edison, day out.
I think that's different because if I was a goalkeeping coach and then I got a Champions League medal, I've won the Champions League because I've trained these goalkeepers, so that he's justified his medal. I feel like, I was a part of the squad, but didn't play any games in the group. Didn't play any games, and then got a medal. So it's a bit.
Who was on the bench in the Champions League final? Would it have been Ortega?
Yeah. So it was obviously Eddie played, Ortega, and then now because you can have nearly 50 people on the bench, can you? There's two keepers on the bench.
So would Ortega say he's won the Champions League?
Well, if you were the two, would you say you won the Champions League?
But he's played. He played.
But he didn't play in the final though.
That's a question you've got to ask him.
It's good though, isn't it?
What about the outfield players then? Let's say you've made 3 Champions League appearances that season,
but didn't come on in the final.
You've made 3 or 4 Champions League appearances. You're an outfield player. You didn't come on the final.
I think, me personally, I think I don't know, you know.
I think it's down to individuals.
Yeah,
I think.
it's whether you're willing to go, no, I won that. I was part of the team.
Yeah.
I helped them get it. And not only, I didn't play in the final, but I was there for them. I was helping them. And you were there for them and you were helping them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just, I don't know, it's just, obviously, it's just something how I've always been. I think, I don't know, even thinking about it now, yeah, like I said, I think I'd done my part. I think I'd helped. I'd trained every day. I'd done the best I can, and but I think unless you play that final, or you've played so many games leading up to it, it is difficult to accept that you've obviously done your part and you've.
All right. Final question on it then. Final question on it. You're good mates with Edison, right? If you said to Edison, did Scotty Carson win a Champions League, and did he win the Premier League? Did he deserve his medal? Was he a winner? And what do you think he would say?
No, Eddie, I think he'd say yeah. But,
because you're part of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Edison would say that because he would feel like you're just as important to the team.
Yeah, well, I don't know, obviously that's a question for them, but maybe asking them, they would say, yeah, he helped us with this or helped us with that, without me actually knowing how I've helped them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because obviously I would just go in and just know, right. It probably took me 6 weeks of going there. And then I thought, do you know what? I know I'm not going to play, but how can I be the best number 3 that there is? What can I do? So it was, you can't go in and sulk about because you're not going to play, or you're not going to get a chance or whatever. And it was just, right, I know whatever I do, however I train, I know that I'm not going to be number 1. I'm not going to be number 2, but I can help the manager on a Sunday when the ones who haven't played, who are disappointed that they haven't played and they start sulking, I can help him by having a positive attitude and trying to lift them and just trying to make them get something out of a Sunday. I can help the young lads who are coming up, making them feel comfortable, helping them fit in, and obviously my main job is I can help the number 2, because the number 2 obviously thinks he could be number 1, so I've got to try and train as best I can so he can see me and knows, well, I can't toss this off because he's trying his nuts off,
and he's behind me
every day, and he knows for a fact that he's not got a chance of playing. So if he's doing that, I've got to do that.
Is there an element of managing a number 2's ego then? Because I think as a fan, I always look at it and go, it's all about the number 1, right? And you're all there to help the number 1. But as you quite rightly say, the 2 probably thinks he wants to get in or should be getting in.
Yeah.
So do you have to manage the ego of a number 2? Like, might you come in and go, listen, you ain't playing, so just get on board with it? Or, yeah, you might get your chance. Like, are those conversations you'd have?
I don't think it was conversation that I would have. I think that's obviously a conversation for the manager to speak to him and more importantly, the goalkeeping coach, because I think that's part of their job.
I agree, yeah.
To do that. But obviously, yeah, I'd be speaking to not just number 2, Eddie or Steph or whichever way it was, or even Zach before, and not even speaking as in giving them advice or to do this or to do that. It's just trying to. I think I was just mainly trying to get them to work as hard as possible and not walk around like some people do. That I'm not playing. I know I'm not going to play. And it was just trying to hopefully make them see me working and knowing that I'm in a worse situation than them of not playing. And I think that's probably why, since I was there, all the keepers that came and went, that we had that relationship from start to finish.
When you signed, would you have ever thought you would be there for 6 years?
No, definitely not. And to be honest, I remember the phone call, my agent ringing me, and I think I was in Drayton Manor with the kids. I think it was my lad. It was the day before my lad's birthday, and he went, Man City, and I went, I think I can still play though. I'm 33. I want to play. And then he went, no, you're gonna have to go. You have to go and speak to them. it's a big opportunity. You don't know what could come of it. You could get a coaching job, and I was like, right, I'll go up and speak, but I'm not 100% saying I want to do it, because I do think I can still carry on playing for another however long. And got there, and it was literally waited, spoke to Pep, spoke to Righty and Shabin, and next thing, right, come on in the car for a medical, and it was like, oh, I'm signing.
We're doing it then.
I'm signing, aren't I? But no, like I said before, it did take a little bit of getting used to, because obviously I was lucky enough from probably the 1920 when I went to Charlton. I literally played probably 90%, 95% from then until I went to City. So I was used to being a number one, or used to playing literally nearly every week in, week out. So it was a little bit of a shock. So it did take me a little bit of time to adjust.
Sorry, this is complete tangent. This is incredible, Scotty. You're the man, by the way. Scotty's never done a podcast, by the way, before, ever. So we're very privileged, but you're brilliant, mate, because some of the stuff you're unearthing here. Right, we did a podcast with Marcus Bettinelli, didn't we? A couple of weeks ago. Yeah. Marcus was brilliant. Obviously, he's now in at Man City. He's the kind of third, fourth choice goalkeeper. Basically, he's taken your role over. Yeah. And he said the one bit he misses about football is that bit where on a Saturday afternoon, you've done the warm-up, the lads have all got ready for the game, they've all gone out onto the pitch, it's about to start, and he said, and there's a 5-10 minute period where you're in the changing room with the kit man, and it's just you two, and it's quiet, but you can hear the game going on. And he said that's the one bit there where you can just feel a little bit of sadness in your heart.
I think even for me, it was Monday to Friday is no different. Whether you're playing or you're not playing, it's no different. You're training, you're having your meetings, you're doing everything. You're training like you're playing on Saturday anyway. So the week for me was no different. But you pull up on the bus at the ground, you go out and do the warm, and then you're like, I do miss that feeling. But see, for me, it was, if I could have just trained Monday to Friday and then not went to the ground, that would have been perfect, because then I wouldn't have got that feeling of And then you go into some grounds and the atmosphere it's already buzzing, and then you're like, oh, I'd just love to have a game here, and then that was the only one thing that made me miss playing a game. It was just getting to the ground on a game day.
I guess though, when you joined, were you 33, 34 when you joined City? But I guess the fact that you'd played 500 games, you knew you weren't going to play, but you knew what you were signing up for. But you'd had your career almost, hadn't you?
Yeah,
in the main part,
it was a difficult position that I was in, really, because obviously Derby was struggling financially, and the manager come to me and was like, Millwall want to sign you, and I was like, look, I need to have a think. I've got a young family, and you've seen how many clubs I've had, so I've never been settled for too long. So I was like, look, my family's settled. I've got 2 years left on my contract. Unless it's right for me, I don't want to go. I think probably Derby was one of the places that I loved being at the most. So it was, unless it's right for me, I'm not. I don't want to go. And then it was like, yeah, fine, no problem. So I was like, look, I'm not going to cause. I won't cause you any problems. I'm not a dick that I'm going to start kicking balls away and poisoning the lads and stuff like that. I'll come in, I'll work hard, and then if I'm not playing, I'm not playing. But I will try my best to get back in your plans and in your team if I'm here. Yes, that's fine, no problem. It's Philip Cocu. So I got out, rang my agent. He rang me back about an hour, and he went, the chief exec rang me, or whoever it was, spoke to Philip Cocu, and if you don't leave, you're training with the kids for the full season. And I was like, oh God. I've just had 4 years, the best probably I've played continuously and most consistent, and it's just like that, innit? When your time's up in a club, your time's up, and that was it. And I was like, And he was like, look, Scott, I know you. I've known you 15 years. If you might take it fine for the first couple of weeks, training with the kids and this and he went, but I know for a fact you'll get frustrated and then you're just not going to enjoy it. So we need to find somewhere. Then
Time to go.
Obviously, then when he said about the City one, he's brought that back up and it's like, what do you want to do? Train with the best players and try and learn as much as you can off Pep and the goalkeeping coaches and things, or do you want to go and train with the kids at Derby? And I was like, yeah, okay. I think I better. I think that's half made my mind up.
I think 6 years, right? 6 years at City, it takes a really special person to be able to do that. It really does, doesn't it? Because you've got to be a certain character, right? They're signing you for the person, first and foremost, aren't you? They know you're going to do a job on the pitch on Monday to Friday. You know they're going to be there, but you need to be a special person. You need to be a cheerleader. You need to be like the father figure of the dressing room, don't you?
Yeah.
Especially nowadays with football, there's so many young people about young characters. And even like Edison, I know you've got a very good relationship with Edison, and from the surface of it, you'd think Edison's this real grown man. He's got all his stuff together. But everybody needs somebody like a shoulder to almost cry on, don't they? Everybody, every goalkeeper needs somebody to sort of just help them a little bit. And that's the reason why you stayed 6 years, isn't it? Because you're that guy.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I did have some time and thought about how can I... And then obviously the first 2 weeks when you first go into a club, it's horrible, isn't it? You don't really know anyone. You just sat on your phone and you're like, you don't know whether to go to the gym or to go to the physio room. It's just a horrible period, isn't it? Where you don't know anyone. And I remember I was texting the Derby WhatsApp group. I think it was the keepers. And I went,
still in it.
I was for like a couple of days. I'm just sat in my locker pretending I'm texting people. And then I think some other lad just went down and he went, I'm doing exactly the same. It's like, but no, but obviously when I went in, you obviously look around and it was just superstar after superstar, and you're like, you start it's like a little bit imposter syndrome, innit? You're like, don't know if I should really be here, but it was like, do you know what? And to be fair, my mum said it to me when I was a kid. She went, look, he's not better than you, and you're not better than him. And then I've always been like that, and there was obviously little, not cliques, but there was the Brazilians and the Argentinians. They obviously speak in languages and Portuguese, and it was like, do you know what? I'm not even bothered. I just started going speaking to everyone and just having a laugh, and then we'd just get the two-touch going in the morning, and just the atmosphere was just.
What was the goalie union at the time? So it was Claudio Bravo, wasn't it?
Claudio, me, and obviously Eddie.
Yeah.
So, but Claudio's, to be fair, he's just proper nice.
Is he? Yeah.
Proper nice fella. Didn't have a bad word to say about anyone, and he just got on. I think he half knew that he was probably gonna leave anytime soon, but he was he was a top guy.
So Edison had just signed at that season, was it, or was it the season before?
I think Eddie might have been there a couple of years before.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
I'd gone there because I think Claudio's contract was running out. I think it was so. But obviously Eddie was playing week in, week out.
This is Edison in his pomp, by the way. Like Edison for me, probably just behind Petr Cech, maybe, as my personal. Yeah. I'm going to ask you a load more about certain players and Edison and blah blah blah. So when you've gone into that City's team, then this is probably we're talking David Silva, we're talking Sergio Aguero, Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez. When you're walking through the door and you're seeing these players, is your eyes just bulging and thinking, wow?
Yeah, I was just like, obviously you see, obviously I hadn't been in the Premiership for 5-6 years or something, so I hadn't seen them live or played against them or whatever, so it was seeing them on telly. But no, I think it was more of, for me, it was more of how they're going to be as a person. And you obviously do think, am I going to hate it? Is it going to be, everyone's going to be arrogant and this and that? But literally after a week or two, obviously the English lads are great, and they tell you, this one doesn't really speak or whatever. But I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to try and just be myself and then speak to everyone. And I remember even having conversation with Aguero sometimes, and he must have been looking at me thinking, what's he on about here? And he just no, he was some character. But no, it was, and like I said, I just started, and I literally everyone while I was there, I don't think there's probably a couple of half ones, but 99% of people I got on with and felt like I created some sort of atmosphere. I think my legacy is probably, I called it the Champions League on the day after a game. We always had finished off with a little five-a-side, and I said I had a 95% win record in the Champions League.
Did you though? Yeah.
He was quite high, to be fair. He used to wind Ortega up and Zach Stefan. I haven't been beat for 6 weeks, and so that was my. That's if I should have got an appearance fee, it should have been on a Sunday, the day after a game when it was the five-a-sides.
Should we talk about your 2 appearances then for Man City? So they came within the space of a week. So obviously came on for the final 17 minutes of the Champions League game against Sporting.
Yeah.
Kept a clean sheet, but then on the Saturday or Sunday, whichever it was away at Newcastle.
Yeah.
Talk us through that game then.
Well, I think City just won the league a couple of days before that, and we'd all met in the training ground. So obviously everyone's having a few drinks and stuff like that, and I think it was a couple of lads that going, Pep, play him on whatever the game was. That Wednesday, I can't remember what it was. Give him a game, play him, and he was like, yeah, okay. And I was like, he's obviously half pissed. He's having a big cigar. And, like, and then we went back in the day after, a couple of days after, and the goalkeeping coach pulled me and went, you ready to play? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, what are you playing? I was like, I'm buzzing. And then obviously it just summed me up the game, didn't it? Man City normally either they'd win 5-0 or it'd be a tight 1-0 or something.
Mate, away at Newcastle was a horrible place to go, mate.
Yeah. But it was a 4-3 and obviously 2 penalties against me, and it's like it was just a typical game that I'd been involved in, and there'd been plenty more over the past that I'd been involved in them sort of games. But no, I was just buzzing to get another game in the Premier League, and to be honest, I didn't think I'd get another one after being away from it so long, and I probably did think that would. It
was nice though, because I remember you saving. It was Joe Willock's penalty you saved, and all the lads are rushing up to you, and even at full time, all the lads rushing over. It was class.
I remember watching. I think it must have had 100 people send me the video of everyone walking off and slapping me on the head. And it was like I'd kept a clean sheet and I had a worldie, but it was just seeing stuff like that, and it's obviously nice to see, and the lads were obviously happy for me to have a game.
Win's a win, mate. Win's a win.
You've played it and trained at City, like with all this ridiculous talent, like for years. Is there any player that was brought in that on the training ground you kind of thought, whoa, he's gonna bring the level up here a bit? Do you know what I mean? Like, and obviously there's unbelievable players, but is there anyone that came in that you just thought, whoa?
I think probably the one that comes to mind was probably Julian Alvarez.
Really?
Because he'd obviously come in, he'd signed from, I don't know, was it River Plate or somewhere for like 12 million. So obviously, I don't think people really not expected him to be a good player, because everyone who comes in is a good player, and he come in and he was just one who, he didn't do out too fancy, he just worked his nuts off, and his shot was just unbelievable. And it did take him maybe a month or I can't remember exactly, but it took him a little while to get in. But when he got in, he was just unbelievable. He was, and he just worked his nuts off every game that he played. But like I said, he's in training, he would just get the ball, and it was a bit like Aguero, where he'd just get it and it'd just be gone, and it would just be in the back of the net.
Bang, no backlift, just bang.
Just past you before you know it.
How much did he go for? He got sold for
like 85 mil or
something. Awful lot of money.
And he was like in effect, the number 2, number 9, was he?
He was kind of like he was like an Aguero replacement, weren't he?
Yeah,
but it never really worked out.
I can't remember which season. I don't know if it was last. I think it was the season before last. I think Erling was he in? I can't remember, but he did get a good run, and he did really well. But he obviously, like I said, he come in. He was not very big, didn't look very strong, but he just come in and just everyone was just like, bloody hell, he's a good player. And they just signed another one not long ago. He's gone to Italy on loan or something, and he was just a carbon copy for Julian. It was like, but he's exactly the same. Just the way he ran, the way he shot. It was like
they've got this like this body type.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's like they're small and they're squat, aren't
Yeah, that's
they?
what
Big bum, big like hamstrings,
Yeah.
big thighs. But when they get out of the feet, it's just woof, slap.
But obviously, this other lad that's come in, he was a little bit even slighter than Julian, and he's one of the best shots you've ever seen. It's like how did they produce him like this? But no, it was. I think he was probably the one that springs to mind the most. I think.
And was there the academy you mentioned earlier on about helping the young lads, and obviously Cole Palmer, Liam Delap, and others? Is there any? Could you see the talent that was obvious, or is it like just a case of they just developed a bit at a certain point?
Yeah, it is obviously difficult because they are coming in, and then they're coming in and training with obviously superstars. So for you to see someone stand out in that is obviously quite difficult.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, Cole Palmer he's good, but even his body language and stuff, and you're looking thinking, is he going to be able to kick on? But the thing is with Pep, obviously that's why he's so good. He obviously can see this, and next thing you know that he sticks them in for a game, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that one coming. And like, look at even Morgan Rogers. He was there, he trained with us for a bit, and
of course
he looked a decent play. He was a very good player, but he just never got a chance. And then he's obviously gone, had a couple of loans, and then ends up somewhere he likes. And then
It's such a difficult, it's so difficult because when you're playing with the world-class players, and they're like feasibly at that time with Man City, like every player in every position is one of the top 10 players in the world in that position, right? It's fair to say. And so for a young lad coming through the academy, a couple that you mentioned there, like Liam Delap and Cole Palmer, for them to stand out, it's near on impossible, isn't it?
But even if they're very, very good players, like if they were in the academy at, I don't know, like Nottingham Forest or West Ham or something like that, they'd probably be talked about as the next big thing. But it's so difficult for these
takes
guys.
a Phil Foden. It takes a Phil Foden coming through to do it at 19, 20 to actually make a mark, doesn't
definitely. But obviously I think as well, the way City do it is just, it's unbelievable, the process they have where they bring them through, give them a couple of games, and then they're selling them off for 20, 30 million. It's just...
Are they putting buyback clauses into a lot of these, are they? Yeah.
Obviously the guy that's just left, Cheeky, who was the director, he was obviously, he had it down to a T, didn't he? He'd even some of the lesser ones, he'd sell them for quite cheap and have a buyback, and then they'd be brought back, and then they'd go again for double. Like, look at Traff.
Yeah.
They'd obviously had that buyback in, and
you knew that was going to happen with Traff, didn't you? You knew it was just because of that buyback. You're saving, I don't know what it was, they had a percentage, so they were saving money on buying him, so why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. The process they had and the way they did things like that was just...
When you've left end of that season then, last season, and you see that they buy James Trafford, Edison's rumoured to be leaving.
Yeah.
First of all, Edison leaving, were you a bit surprised?
Yeah, I was and I wasn't, because obviously without him saying too much about it, there was last season, you were thinking, and obviously asking him what you're going to do, and I do know that there was talk of Saudi and stuff like that, and I think he was in his head probably he's ready. He was maybe ready for a change, and but did I see it? Did I see it coming as maybe soon as this season? I probably didn't. I maybe thought he'd maybe have another one, or he'd maybe get another contract, then he would have stayed. But I think the person he is, I think he'd obviously done everything that he probably set out to do at Man City, and he'd won everything. So he's obviously gone to Turkey for maybe a little bit warmer weather and a different culture. So fair play to him. He deserved it, and he earned wherever he wanted to go.
Yeah, and then they obviously bring James Trafford in, but then within a few weeks they bring big Gigi Donnarumma in. What are you making of that whole scenario?
Yeah, obviously without knowing the ins and outs of it, it was quite quite strange to see from the outside, wasn't it? Because obviously you're bringing 2 keepers in that
First team goalkeepers, first choice goalkeepers.
Them to play week in, week out. But like I said, you don't know, has Traff been told he's going to be the number 1 and they're going to sign someone else, or they're going to sign a number 2 or another young one with him? And it's obviously been a bit of a kick in the teeth for him when you're not just bringing anyone in, you're bringing Big Gigi in, aren't you? So it's obviously been kind of been a good day for him when he's seen that they're signing him. And obviously there's still, you said Marcus is there, and there's still Stefan Ortega, who's obviously done really well at the time he's been there, and he's not even...
Some goalie department, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some goalie department. What do you make of, obviously Gigi's been playing, and it's almost like they've not got away from playing it out from the back, but it's definitely not one of his strengths, right? No. Is this a bit of a change from Pepper's, the way that Man City are going to play this season?
Yeah, I think probably Pep's probably looked at it because he looks at everything else, and obviously when you've had Edison for however many years, you're not going to get anyone who's at the level with his feet. So I can't imagine he's changed the build up, he's changed the goal kicks. Whereas you've seen Eddie with the ball, he'd literally let someone get within an inch of him and then he'd pass it.
Mate, I seen him Cruyff turn somebody on his 6-yard line. So, on his 2-yard, he was 2-yard about Man United. Yeah. Do you remember he did that one? And then, he's a joke. He's a joke.
So I think obviously they've probably looked at Big Gigi and thought, right, we'll maybe adjust it maybe even for the time being. I don't know till he understands it, because until you see some of the goal kicks on a day-to-day basis, you're like, oh my God. And then obviously, to be fair, I don't think I'm actually too bad for my feet, but when I went there, I'm like, oh my God.
Next. Come on, let's do some Edison talk, please. Let's do some Edison talk, because we did Nick Pope on the podcast last week, Scott, and I said, like, who for you in this modern era of football has been the best goalie you've ever seen on the pitch? And he said, Edison, by a mile. He said, when I was at Burnley, we were at Turf Moor, and he said that we got pumped like 5. We used to just get pumped by him all the time, 5. He said, but Edison was dictating play from his 18. He said he was slapping it to the right, slapping it to him. He said, we were all just like getting dragged around the play, and he was just slapping these passes out like you wouldn't believe.
No, it's just, you'd never seen anything like it. It was just, and in the games, it was just 100. Sometimes you do it in training, and it was like, he just couldn't be bothered. Like, he couldn't be bothered with it. He just knew he was good at kicking. And he'd do these little competitions, and then he'd be shanking a few, and I'm like, is he all right here? And then you get to a game, and then, right, we're going to do this goal kick or whatever, and then you just see him slap it 190 yards over the top.
With one step.
He'd just land on someone's toe, and you're like, how is it even possible? But I think the thing with him as well, it was like he was just ice in his head with it, because he could do something wrong or he could make a mistake, but he just didn't give a shit. And then I don't think he cared what people said, whereas I was like, I'm going to be getting cane. I want to be getting cane tomorrow for that, or this or that. But he just didn't bother. He'd just come in the next day, and then he'd always go out training. Didn't do warm down. He'd come out training, and he was. I think that's probably one of his biggest strengths, that he didn't get too high when he'd had an unbelievable game, and if he made a mistake, he'd just come in the same the next day, and he didn't give a shit.
Is he the best Premier League goalkeeper of the modern era?
I think so, yeah. I think just for his all-round game, I don't think there was anything that he had a weakness on. He was obviously, he'd come for crosses, he'd come and punch crosses, he was obviously unbelievable at sweeping, kicking, we've already mentioned, shot stopping. Probably would there have been some obviously goals that he would have done better on? Yeah, he'd be the first to admit that, but I think his all round game was just obviously 9 out of 10 everything.
He had, like, sometimes when you look at goalkeepers, right, even in the Premier League, you could look at every goalkeeper and say, right, what's their X factor? Yeah, what is a certain goalkeeper's X factor?
Yeah.
But Edison had multiple X factors, multiple. And to get multiple into goalkeeping, there's only a few that have got multiples. Yeah. Allison's got multiples. Gigi's probably got a few multiples. But I think for me, this is why I agree. I think Edison probably of this modern era has been the best in the Premier League over the last sort of 10 years or so, because he has got more X factors than other goalkeepers. Some of the things he can do is just you can't. Like, he's just born with it.
Look, even like the one on one when he come out and he's literally one leg's there and then the other one's behind. And
Flexibility, like you wouldn't believe.
We used to obviously practice that, and I'm trying to do it, and I turn around and he's just on the floor laughing. Going, I'm like, but just the flexibility of it. And obviously I've 35. From 35 to 40, trying to do that, it's just not happening.
Oh, it's good.
Should we? You mentioned earlier on, but should we talk about some kind of like highs and lows? Obviously, I'm guessing it's a high, but we talked about it earlier on. Leeds, 18 years old, and you're playing at Old Trafford. I don't know how else to put this, but you must have been shitting yourself.
That's an understatement. I think that there was multiple times that the couple of weeks before, because I knew I was going to play because of obviously Robbo's red card.
Were you a Leeds fan?
No, I was a Carlisle fan.
Okay.
And then that night before was just the worst night's sleep that I've ever had probably in football. And like I said before, just pulling up and seeing Old Trafford for the first time when you know that you're going to be making your first senior game was a thought that can I just stay on this bus today? But obviously when you get through the game, and the game went pretty well from what I can remember, you just buzzing, aren't you? When you get
do you
that
think, right, if you'd have had a bad game that day and it would have been all about you, do you think that can really affect somebody? Really affect a goalkeeper?
Yeah, 100%. I think, like, even looking back at some games I had that were bad. I think if like social media and stuff was about then, and I don't know how I would have coped with it. But obviously, the only thing you had then, you remember, you used to get the Sunday Sun, didn't you? And just have a check to see if you got a 9 out of 10
Player rating.
or a 3 out of 10. So that's all you have to worry about that. But obviously now it's a bad game or a mistake. It's blown up 1,000 times more than it used to, and it just keeps on getting put out there. So I am glad that I played in the time that I played, because obviously some of the mistakes I've made, it would, like I said, I don't know how I'd have dealt with it.
We talk about low points then. I think I might know what one of them would have been Croatia.
Yeah, 100%.
England, I think, was it your third or fourth appearance for England?
I think
second appearance for England. It's kind of famous because it's the Steve McLaren sort of Wally with the brolly. But the game actually we lost 3-2, didn't qualify for Euro 2008. But it was the Nico Crankjar goal, wasn't it? Where he's wobbled one, and I'll back you this. He wobbled one from about 30 yards, but you ended kind of scooping it a little bit into the goal. Talk us about that moment and then how it affected you afterwards.
To be fair, I think I only made my debut a couple of days before that, and then come back, and then obviously Steve pulled me and said, "You're going to play." And I was obviously buzzing and thinking, "Oh, this could be my chance to get a run of games in the team." And
how old were you, Scott?
21, 22,
wow,
22 maybe. And then obviously I think I've gone back to my room, come down to had pre-match and get on the bus, and it's absolutely lashing down, and I'm like, This just sums me up.
Why?
And then I've got to the stadium doing the warm up, and it's like there's water on the pitch, like setting on the pitch, and I'm like
pooling.
Yeah, I went thinking this only can happen to me. Obviously freezing, pissing down. I ran in. I've had a shower before getting strip on, which I'd never did, and then come out, and then obviously that's happened. I can't. Ball's bounced, it's skidded, it's gone in, and I remember looking, and there was like 6, 7, 8 minutes on the clock, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be the longest night of my life here. And then obviously when you make a mistake, you just go in yourself a little bit, don't you? And you go a little bit shaky. And I think I got a back pass and I went to, like, obviously just send it halfway line and just shanked it across the floor. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be, I don't know, I'm going to get through this.
Is it genuinely scary to the point where you kind of, you almost wish that your number would come up on the board and take me out of here now?
Yeah, there's been probably hundreds of games that you make them. I've made a mistake and I'm like, you know what? Like, I've trained all week to try and have the best game I possibly can, and I've made a mistake. It's like your full week's work has just gone down the drain because of that mistake, and it's like it is hard to get it out of your head, and your body seems to go into yourself a little bit, and then instead of just relaxing and, like I said before about Eddie, he can just let things go. It's hard, and you're just constantly going over it. And obviously, we've got to half time. I think we're 2-0 down, and I think I remember I made actually quite a good save, and it gave me a little bit of a boost. And then obviously, I think we brought it back to 2-2, and they've scored again. He's hit a long range one, and looking back, probably I should have probably saved that. I've gone after it, and it's obviously gone in the corner, but it's one of them where I think I probably should have saved that more than the first one. The first one just it is a mistake, and they do happen, don't they? But it was it was a horrible night, and I think it did take me a while to recover from that.
What were the days like after, like the immediate days afterwards? Because Steve McLaren obviously he probably took the brunt of it, didn't he?
Yeah, he got sacked pretty sharpish, didn't he?
Yeah, no, it was horrible. I think I was off the next day. And I think I went from Wembley back to Cumbria, and I remember just thinking, like, you're embarrassed. You don't want to see people. You don't want people to say anything. And then I went back in, and I think there might have been me and Ashley Young who was in that squad with Aston Villa. I can't remember, but Martin O'Neill, obviously he was trying to make a joke of it, and I've played on the Saturday, I think it was at Middlesbrough, and I can't remember, there was some lad who's in the tunnel straight away. It's only been done about 72 hours, and he's like, whoever gets it, just shoot. And I'm like, oh my God.
So they're making a point of saying that out loud as well.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God. And then obviously for however many weeks, months after that, you just get booed. Every away game, you're getting booed because you let the country down in this, and you're like I said, looking back, I'm not sure if there was how I got through it, and I don't think there was even a point. Like, you get through it. I think it's just time in it where people just half forget a little bit.
Yeah, it's time. It's time's the biggest healer. Yeah. It is. You just need to try and get a few games strung together, like half a dozen games where you just going about your business, not even like pulling up trees, just going about your business. Just try and get that. You want to be known as, no, he's steady. Yeah, he's a good steady goalie.
The thing as well is you're such a young man as well. If that happened to you at 34 or 35, you're so much more experienced. Like, it happened into that at 22 years old. It's frightening.
To be honest, I probably wasn't even ready to be even in that squad or even playing. So it was difficult. I probably was more so ready when I was playing at Derby and playing good week in, week out. And there was obviously talk of it, and I was half buzzing thinking, well, I am probably a 10 times better keeper than I was 10 years ago. Obviously more experience, which helps. I'd probably only played, I don't know, 80, 90 games before I'd play for England, which in the context it's not a lot of games and not a lot of experience, is it?
This is why Gigi Donnarumma has played 500 career games already. He's 26 years old. He's been playing for a decade.
Obviously, everyone develops differently, but do you have an age where you think a goalkeeper is prime? Because we spoke to Nick Pope last week, and he's 32, and he kind of suggested almost like that this is
his prime is right now.
I think I felt probably 29 to 30, 32, 33. And then, but obviously from leaving Derby, I'd I never really played, so I can't really comment on that. But obviously in training, even last year, I still felt I was a decent keeper and probably a better keeper at 39 than I was at 21, 22, and I'm getting picked for England. So it is a strange situation.
Are we picking are we a little bit guilty of England of jumping on the next hot prospect?
Yes. Like that, like exactly that. Jordan Pickford, right? What's Jordan? 33, 32?
Yeah.
Just signed a new 4-year deal. He's England's number one, and he's so solid as England's number one because it's not an easy job, is it, Scott? It's such a tough job to do to get that reliability and consistency, that 7 out of 10 every single week.
Yeah.
Like, don't take it for granted. Just accept it and enjoy it, all right? Let the good players, them other 10 in front of you, do all the magic, yeah? Just trust in Jordan to do his job there because it's not easy.
No, it's definitely not. And like, I take my hat off to him because he's obviously he's done it and he's been doing it for that long now. And no, it is a lot of pressure. And to be honest, I don't think I enjoyed going with England or playing with England. It was probably a relief when I probably didn't start getting picked. But obviously, when you're younger, you play to represent your country, and obviously fortunate enough to do that. But when you're in that situation, it is, and I think back then he was looks to be a little bit more different than how the squads are now and things like that. It looks, I think obviously Gareth Southgate had a lot of stick for a lot of things, but he looked to have got a good balance and a good team spirit with the groups that he was picking, and it seems to have carried on. So no, but like you said about like Pickers, he's cemented that position as his own, and he deserves all the credit he gets for it.
He could get another 50 caps for England, couldn't
He really could.
Yeah.
He really could. Don't be in any rush to replace him, I'll tell you that. Don't be in any...
Did you enjoy playing for England?
No, I was at the same sort of time as Scotty. I think we only ever were in... Do you remember...
We were at Old Trafford training together.
Yeah, it was something like that, wasn't it? It was in the build-up to I got called back from holiday, basically. It'd been 2005, it would have been, 2006-ish. And I got called back from holiday because Rob Green played in a game and did his groin. So I came back to basically be the fourth choice goalie behind you, Paul Robinson and J-Mo.
Just before the World Cup, wasn't it?
Just before the World Cup, yeah. 2010, that'd have been. But no, 2006. Yeah, 2006. And I just remember training for a couple of weeks kind of thing. And then they announced like the final squad, didn't they? So they cut like 4 or 5 players or whatever. Yeah. But that was the ever time. We never crossed over any other time. I don't think so, no. I don't think we were in any other squads together. Might have been, mate. My memory's shocking. I won't lie to you.
No, obviously I was in a bit from probably that 2006 to 2008, 9. And then obviously it started just to be obviously hit and miss and in and out, and then obviously when Roy got the job, then I wasn't.
That was it.
I wasn't in any.
But that time with England, it was a tough place to be. You see Stevie Gerrard on Rio Ferdinand's podcast the other day. He was talking about just too many egotistical losers. Basically, that's what he said, didn't he?
But you got as well though. There was a big bunch from United. There was a big, but there was like.
But there was a big divide as well. Yeah, it was a big divide. It was an horrible place to be.
Did you know that at the time?
Could you clearly see it? You could clearly see it.
Because you were with United.
I was at United, so I was with them, but not really because I wasn't really a first team player, so I didn't feel part of that. I didn't feel part of the England squad because I wasn't anywhere near playing or anything. So it was just a bit. Yeah, I agree with Scott. I never really enjoyed my time with England, other than the World Cup, which we didn't do too well in 2014.
Yeah, I remember with England. I wouldn't say there was like cliques and people didn't get on and stuff. I never felt it like that, but it was a bit more. The Southerners would be at one side of the table, the Northerners, and then obviously the big Southern teams, the big Northern teams together, and then if you got picked from West Brom or Aston Villa, you just tend to you just look for a seat anywhere in the middle. So
it was Villa, like little Charlton players, like a Watford player might be down there. You'd have little, honestly, a Southampton player would be over there, but like they would all join together as their own little crew. Yeah,
but it was a bit like it was a bit like when I went to City. Obviously, looking around at all these players that you've been watching, and then but I'm 33 then. When you're going into that at 20, 21 and you've seen all these like Beckham and Gerrard, Lampards, and you're like, oh, like this is
megastars.
This is horrible. And you're just trying to keep your head down, aren't you?
Were there any old heads that would like kind of look after you? Because you hear now, is it fair to say like Jordan Henderson is very much one of those?
Not really. That time was like it was. In fairness to them, there was so much scrutiny on them and so much media pressure because there was so much expectation that everybody kind of had to look after themselves so much more. They didn't have the energy to try and help many other people.
You just used to look for someone who's in a similar situation to you. That's obviously just coming into it.
Yeah,
hasn't been in and around it. And then, like I remember, I was with Stewie Downing quite a bit, and.
Stu has with Stu a bit as well.
Yeah, Stu. I'm trying to think who else there was. To be fair, Phil Neffel was always good. He was
good lad, wasn't he?
Proper good lad, and he'd try and look after you. And
Luke Young, remember? Luke Young was in for a bit.
I was in.
Young, he's great.
I was at my first season at Charlton. He was there, so obviously I knew him. But no, to be fair, Phil Neville was good. He looked after the new ones a little bit, and.
Luke Young.
No, great.
When
lad.
you said that, the pick at the players there, I was thinking, who would that have been? You said Charlton. I was thinking, would that have been Chris Powell or Luke Young?
Yeah, Luke Young. Yeah. Question I've always wondered about, Scotty. So, if you're the third choice goalkeeper, right? You're travelling everywhere with the team. You're away games. You're always on the bus with the team, right? Yeah. How does it work with regards to like bonuses? And I don't need exact amounts here or anything like that, but how does it work with regards to bonuses? Because if you're a starting player, you get 100% of any bonus that might be earned. Or if you win a competition, right, win the Champions League, win the Premier, you get that bonus, right? But as a third choice goalkeeper, do you have a special part in your contract that gives you kind of access to a bonus because you know you're not going to get an appearance fee?
I'm trying to think. I think it was obviously the first time I was in Champions League was obviously with Liverpool, and it was. If I remember right, it was you get X amount for winning a group game. Yeah. If you're on the bench, you get I think it was half. Yeah. And then obviously, the further you go in the competition, the more you obviously get. Or it might. I can't remember. It might not even be half on the bench, or it was just if you won this game, you got X amount each player. Yeah. So obviously, when the call from City come, I'm like, oh, these Champions League bonuses, and then obviously the guys put the bonus, just sign this schedule thing, and I was like, my agent was like, is it not like every time you win a game? He went, no, we just pay the players when we get success, so you only get a bonus when you obviously win a competition or this or
so
that.
You're not getting it in a monthly salary.
No, just
only you'll get it at the end of the season if you actually win the competition.
Yeah, then it wasn't until after I had a conversation with obviously Cheeky, the director, and we were just talking about things, and I just asked him about something about that, and he went, before I come in here, they were paying this, they were paying that, and players were getting this. Even coming second, they were still getting this. They were paying for the accommodation, they were paying for the cars. And he went, no, I wasn't having that. I just wanted to give the players a bonus when we won a competition.
That's
I was like.
So, but that would have been worth it. Like, do you know what I mean? So, if they get to the quarterfinal, what they used to do is they'd pay you X amount if you got to the quarterfinal. Yeah. But when they changed it, because Man United did the same thing. Just as I was leaving Man United, they did the same thing where they said, no, from now on, you guys are all earning crazy wages, right? Yeah. We are not going to pay you money for getting to the quarterfinal of the Champions League. We expect you to win something, okay? So even if you get to the final and lose, you're not going to get the payment.
But you'd have been weighed in knowing that you weren't like they wouldn't have been like appearance based for you. You'd have been part of that.
I think the sheet I signed would have been for like the likes of myself and like fringe players and academy players. Yeah. And then I think you had to play so many games where you only got 50% of it or whatever. But obviously all the other big hitters, they were obviously on personal bonus contracts and stuff like that. And from what I could hear anyway. And it was like, obviously, but even just getting any bonus like that is
buzzing.
It is you're buzzing, aren't you? Because
buzzing.
it is good, and obviously when you're somewhere like that, you do know you're within. Like obviously, if you're signing a bonus sheet for some other club to win the Champions League, you know it's not going to happen, don't you? But you always know you're in with.
At least the League
Even
Cup.
if it's shot.
We're at least
exactly. Yeah.
So everyone's had a nice holiday after the treble season.
Yeah.
yeah. But that, like, and I know there's a lot of people that will probably be in the comments below going, hang on a minute, they're earning X amount per week and they're getting a bonus on top of it. But I think for the fringe players, for the players who are sort of like either trying to get into the team or the team players like Scotty who come in every day with a massive smile on the face and help everybody, I think these bonuses are fully deserved. I do. I love this.
Is it true that Pep gave everyone in the building, like that works in the first team building, like a real good bonus, like kitchen staff, everybody?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Do you know what? He was brilliant with like that. Obviously, the players obviously would give, if there was anything won or whatever, then they'd give a proportion of their bonus.
Oh,
to
brilliant.
A big
Yeah,
pot.
lovely.
But no, Pep was brilliant like that. He'd come in and he'd go, right, if we win, if I want you all to work hard and obviously just like give them a boost, and if we win the league, my league bonus, you can all split
Share it.
all share it, and he
What,
did.
his personal one?
Yeah, he did that several times.
What, with the staff in the
Yeah,
building?
just with all the staff in the building. Yeah,
That's class. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. I heard a rumour about you when you signed for Liverpool,
Yeah.
that you could have gone to Chelsea,
yeah.
but the reason you signed for Liverpool is because you heard that Chelsea do initiation songs and you were so nervous about getting up in front of everybody and singing that you preferred to sign for Liverpool because they didn't do that.
It is a little bit true, but it's not 100% true. It is a little
Hold
bit.
on, so we haven't spoken about this beforehand. I haven't prompted you for this yet. I just, on the car on the way up, right, I said to Tom, I went, I'm sure I heard,
I said, "Fuck off, Ben,
I'm
no
sure I
chance."
heard that Scotty didn't want to do the initiation song at Chelsea, so he signed for Liverpool instead.
Yeah, it is a little bit true. I think I'm trying to think of that was a weird couple of weeks that there was obviously talk of Chelsea, and then I went down to meet Mourinho, and he went into this house that's like huge, and he's got his fitness coach washing his car, and I'm looking thinking what's going on here, and he was like, no, I want to bring some more English in, and I was like, so I thought, right, I need to go back home and I need to have a think about it. Obviously I knew about the initiation stuff, and I to be fair, I was shitting myself about that. I never did one before. I was 18, and then I was like, and they were offering me like double what Liverpool were. And I was like, in Liverpool, I'm 2.5 hours away from my mum. I can at least they can come and see me. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready for London, but yeah, it is half right there.
So did you ever have to do one in your career?
Yeah, I've done loads. I've done loads since then. But
Do you have you got a song that you do?
I can't remember what I did. I would have my song now, but to be fair, obviously when the new lads were coming in at City, by the end of it, they were still getting me up to do another song, and I'm like, I'm shit at singing, but I just have to quickly have
Your fair game.
have a couple of pints or whatever, and then just get it out there. But
When you're young, though, right, like in your 20s, it is one of the most daunting
terrible.
things, isn't it? When
Horrible.
it's you're eating your dinner, yeah, and you can't taste it, and you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Ting 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 ting. Scotty, your turn. Oh.
and then straight you can feel your chest a bit like, and then you're trying to hold the hold this fork to sing, and you're like,
That's the microphone, yeah.
But no, the couple of times I have done them, luckily they've been on a pre-season or they've been somewhere, so it's literally just to get a bit of Dutch courage. It's just straight to the part, and then quickly bang 2 beers, and then you're like, who cares now?
Couple verses, that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Finally, mate, your time in Turkey. So you spent 2 years out there, Bursaspor. Tell me about how did that come about first and foremost?
Well, obviously, I think I was, can't remember if I was up. You coming to West Brom after me, didn't you?
2012.
Yeah, so it had been
11-12.
Yeah.
I joined there.
So I can't remember if my contract was up or I had a year left. I can't remember, but it was obviously Roy was in, and he went, I'm going to bring a new keeper in. And then I was, it's like you're speaking to your agent, what's available? It's pretty quiet, but he went, I've got one in Turkey, and I was like, oh, it's not just round the corner, that is it. I've been from Cumbria to London, everywhere, but I went, Turkey, and he went, yeah. He went, do you want to fly out and have a little look at it? So I went, all right, I'll have to go and have a look at it. There was no other options on the table, so it's like I'm gonna have to go and have a look at it. So obviously flying to Istanbul, meet all these people, and they get you a helicopter from Istanbul to Bursa, like 20 minutes, and you're like, it's not too bad, this, is it? And then I went, right, I'm just gonna have to have a bit of time to think on this. I've got a 5-year-old, I've got a 3-year-old, and I've got my missus is about to pop any time, so like it's not.
How does that conversation go with the missus then when you're saying I'm about to sign for Turkey team?
I know, to be fair, obviously she was 8 months pregnant, and well, it was. I think it was even the other kids were even younger than that, and it was like she went, look, whatever you want to do, I'll leave it to you. And obviously I'd look around Bursa, and to be fair, it was a decent place, and it was just obviously where it's at, how far it is, and with the kids, Bursa's a bit more. It's not as Western as probably Istanbul or anything, so it was a little bit more. It was a lot different, but I was like, right, do you know what? I've got not many options in England. I'm just gonna have to take a plunge, and then obviously I went there for the first bit, and then when my missus was about to drop, come back, and then flew back out, and then I had to wait 3 weeks, get the passport, get the injections or whatever, and then she's landed, and then I didn't tell her, but when you don't get the helicopter, you've got to get a taxi to the ferry, then you've got to sit on a ferry for an hour and a half, and then you've got to get another hour when you get off, and it's like, and then she's like, I can just see her looking, thinking, what's going on here? But to be fair, looking back, she always says to me now, at the time, you're like, oh, this is hard. You take things for granted in England, like even just going to Tesco and just getting your shopping, and you walk around their supermarket and everything's different. And there was a safari park at IKEA, so we must have been to both of them about 500 times in 2 years.
Let's go to the IKEA cafe again, love.
It was all the time, but
Meatballs, yeah.
yeah, but they're different. It was different. Everything was different. Yeah. So but the one thing about the football, they just live and die for football, and the atmospheres are unbelievable. The best atmospheres I've ever played in. I love the football there. I loved it, but it was just, I just found it difficult to adjust to the culture side of it. And like I said, where I was at was a little bit different. Maybe Istanbul is a little bit different, but even going there for a weekend or staying there after the game, it's just chaotic, and it's like London. It's just too busy for me. I just like the village. I just like the village life.
And what was the level like playing wise?
To be fair, he was obviously. I thought it was good. It was a good standard. Obviously, you did have your top 3-4 teams: Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, and Besiktas, who were obviously miles ahead in terms of standard. But no, like you'd go to probably like a relegation side, and where they had maybe 10, 15, 20,000, say, but they'd be in the stadium, and now before the game, as you're going for the warm up, just singing, dancing, throwing things down, and you're like this is just different,
Crazy,
different level.
Good innings though, mate. 77 games, not bad that.
Yeah, no, it was. To be fair, I loved it. I think I had 2 years left on my contract, but just in my head, I was just like, when I think the older I got, the more from home I was, I hated it.
Yeah.
And then it was like, we're going to put an offer in for me, and I was like, I don't know if I can go back. I think I'm done with it, because every time you have to go back, you have your pre-season, and their pre-seasons were the worst pre-seasons you've ever had. We went to like Austria and it was 22 days constant in Austria, and in the end, I think it's the one and only time I've ever did it. I went to the manager and I went, my wife's not feeling too well. I'm gonna have to go home, just because my head had totally gone, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm done. I need to get back to England. I've done 2 years, which is more than I thought I'd have been able to do, but I'm gonna have to go, and thankfully Wigan bought me.
Right, Scotty Carson, we normally do quick fires at this point of the podcast, but today we're going to do Questions with a recently retired footballer, okay? You ready?
Yep.
Best goalkeeper you've trained with?
Edison.
Best goalkeeper you played against in your career?
I'm going to throw a name out. Rustu, Turkey.
Rekber Rustu.
Wow.
He used to wear the little things under his
He
eyes.
looks like a madman.
That's a nice bit of memorabilia I've got. His shirt.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. That's a good one. I like that. Favourite captain that you played under?
Fernandinho.
Nice. Favourite manager?
Pep.
Did you enjoy your career?
Loved it.
Best player you played with?
David Silva.
Yeah, everybody says that, don't they? Everybody says that. What did you do for the first round of Premier League fixtures this season when you wasn't a footballer?
Went to the pub.
It's good, it's good. Throughout your 20-year career, what year of football were you at your best?
2017.
Who are you at there?
Derby.
Player with the hardest shot?
I'm going to say Julian Alvarez.
Yeah. Who's the one player you won't miss shooting against you?
I'm gonna say it's not gonna be an obvious one, but Ruben Diaz. I think he tried to keep me out a little bit too long. Sometimes he wanted to practice his headers and his shots, and I'm like,
Ruben Diaz.
It's Sunday. I've got to go to church.
You're a defender, Ruben.
Can we just call it a day now?
And finally, who was the one player that you used to worry about playing against because you knew they had something special in the locker? Do you know who my answer to this is? Kevin De Bruyne. He used to worry the life out of me because he would always try and shoot from anywhere.
Yeah, it has to be a player from City, Liverpool, or United. Because when you went there with a smaller club, you just spent half the time looking at the clock, didn't you? Thinking just keep the score down. I'll probably say Ronaldo because he scored a few goals. Scored a few goals past me. Yeah.
You're not alone.
You're not alone, yeah. Scotty Carson, before we go, what's next? What are you doing? What's going to be the next part of your career?
Like I said, I'm recently retired now, so it's still up in the air. But I'm just gonna see what happens in the next couple of weeks and see if any opportunities come up. I haven't definitely ruled the coaching side of it out, or maybe the media. So we'll have to have a little look at it and see what's going to be best.
You are the man. We appreciate this episode today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations on a phenomenal career, mate.
And congratulations on your first podcast.
Yeah, well done, mate.
I feel a bit better now. I'm glad the debut's out the way.
We've taken your virginity there, mate. Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Up the Fozcast.
Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed the latest episode of the Fozcast. Don't forget to give us a follow on Spotify. Up the Fozcast.